Welcome back, everyone. For today's project, we have this. We are taking this golf cart, which happens to be my father's, and we're going to add to it the Buggies Unlimited back seat with a little flip-up ledge to haul stuff. So we're going to have to take all this apart. The old golf cart bag pieces will need to come off. These things for golf cart bags. He does not golf, nor is he anywhere near a golf course at all, and these are just a wasted space for him. So we're going to get these off, we're going to get the seat on, clean it up a little bit. I've got a few things I need to fix, including I see that the arm meter that we got him is wired in a little bit wrong. It's actually on with a key off, which will drain his battery. So we're going to fix that while we're at it, get the hot side of it wired to the key switch. So let's be about it. So this is the Buggies Unlimited kit, and I've actually been pretty impressed with this kit overall. The instructions were very well done. I actually ended up using them, which I quite often don't do. But they were very well done instructions, walk you through the process. Every part you need is right there, and all the screws you would need are right there. The only thing they didn't include was the drill bit that you need for one little step. The only thing that is doing is opening up the plastic on the base there, which we'll see in a little while. The first thing, of course, is to get the roof off and open up the back. Now, these bolts here that are holding on the candlestick bases that go up to the roof are kind of hard to show on camera, but basically there's 2 bolts on each side that you have to loosen up, and that's what I'm doing here, just getting those out of there. And once those are out, you can remove the whole assembly that used to hold the golf bags. And then they have new pieces that will go in place of those that you can attach the seat to. And with those bolts out, we can remove that whole piece and set it aside. You're not going to need that again. In here, I'm just spending a couple of minutes to fix one of the grommets where it comes through the frame. It got bent at some point previously. And from this point, we can start putting in the new pieces that came with the seat. These are going to allow you to bolt the seat up to that. And we're just putting back in the same bolts that we took out previously. In the instructions, it does note where you need to retain the bolts that you take out. And there are several places where you're going to use the same bolts, which is perfectly fine, of course. So with those new mounts put in, we can put the cover back on and we can start assembling the rest of it. So there's bolts here that we're going to pull off, which were previously used, and then once those are out, we can put in the new base plate for the seat. And that base plate is going to set right down in there, and then you're going to bolt that down into there. And this is the point where we need to drill and open up that hole a little bit bigger so that the bolt will fit down through. You probably noticed when I drilled there was no resistance. That's just simply because we're opening up the plastic hole a little bit wider. The actual frame metal hole is wide enough for the bolt. And with that in place, then we can continue mounting the rest of the seat. The seat is going to attach in at least 4 main places. The 2 new candlestick supports that are going to the front, and then the bottom plate that we install into the base there has 2 little points to mount, and those are going to, I'm putting those screws in there now, those are going to mount there to hold the back part. And this actually ends up pretty strong, pretty rugged, haven't had any problem at all with that. And then we can put on the step here on the back that also gets mounted off of that plate that is going up, and then the side arms can get installed on the whole assembly. And the side arms also provide support for that step. There's a mount you'll see a little bit later in the video that you have to install to get the side arms to hold on to that step. One thing to note is there's a rubber washer that goes between the back plate and the side arm, the armrest, and you want to make sure you get that put in the right location just to keep that vibration down and make that a little bit softer impact through there. There's one for each side. Then we can repeat the process for the other side, and do the exact same thing. At this point, you should be moving along pretty well and getting a hang for the instructions. Now, this is the piece that I wanted to slow down here to show you. These little side supports not only hold the side arms coming down, but they also provide a lot of support for the step. So you want to make sure you get these facing the right direction. And they kind of go in between the step and the arm, and they hold both sides of it and the bottom. And we'll get both of them in here. You can see a little bit better view on that there. How that connects down in, get them tight, and you're ready to go. The actual seat bench will also connect to the back of those armrests. One thing to note is that's a Phillips screw and a flathead that goes through the side there, and you want to make sure you get that right. There's two separate screws that are different from all the rest that go there, and that allows the seat to fold down past them. So they're like a flathead top screw. And then you can put the braces on the back of the seat back, screw that into place, or bolt that rather into place, and then we can attach the seat. So the seat goes very similar. That's going to go on the bottom of that, and then you put the screws in, and then when you fold it back up, the seat's right there for you to sit on. Otherwise, this makes a nice little pickup bed for your golf cart, and it's a great feature. Use it all the time. I have a golf cart myself that has one of these, and it's awesome for hauling stuff. And in my dad's case, this makes his golf cart so much more usable. And time for a little break. Unfortunately, I didn't have a glass of whatever to drink, but we can take a moment's rest and then move on. So here I'm just tightening up all the bolts that I left loose until everything was kind of positioned up in place, and then we can put the seat back on the front seat now that everything's out of the way. And after that, we're going to be moving into putting the roof back on. This actually ended up being one of the most difficult parts of the process. And the reason being is that the position of those arms was a little bit off. So I ended up fighting with it and struggling with it, and then eventually realized I just needed to take the one passenger side one and give it a good shove, because it was not quite perfectly straight up and down, and it was causing too much pressure in between the arms of the top. So once I got that shifted into place, then the bolts would line up and I can get those tightened up and everything would work. But it took me a while fighting with this to realize that and to get everything positioned right where it needed to be. Okay, so to wire in the voltmeter into the circuit, what we'll need to do is tie off to the key line. And the key line for the one coming off of the key switch there in the dash is the red and white line. So we're going to crimp into that and then just solder that right into there. And I'm hoping I can split it apart a little bit with my wire stripper. Kind of tight here. If I can split it apart, I can solder it in. And I was able to split the wire with my wire cutters, wire strippers, and then I've tinned this side. I can just wrap this around it and then use the soldering iron to solder that into place, and then some electrical tape, and we're good to go. And we're all soldered up. Nice, good, solid connection. I'll cover that up with electrical tape, and I am currently in tow mode. There we go. It is working. Off the key, and we don't have to worry about the meter draining the battery. And it's actually a little brighter than it was.